Hello guys, this is DJ Question Mark here, and I've received a request from a few people. One of them in particular is Austin. You guys, if you've been watching my videos recently, you've noticed that I filmed a music video with him, and that was a hell of a lot of fun. Anyways, besides that, I received a request that someone wants me to make a tutorial on how to create a set of chords. Because the one thing that'll throw off people in creating a song in FL Studio is, okay, well, I have the idea in my head, but I don't know where to go with it. So, hopefully this video will give you some tips on what to do. Okay, first thing we're going to do is we're just going to add a 3x oscillator, mainly because it's the simplest thing we can do right now. It loads really quickly. We're not using it in a song of any sort. We're just using it because it's there. So, I'm not going to change any of the settings in the oscillator. This is merely, all we're focusing on is a piano roll. And that's all we are going to focus on. Let me throw on a limiter, just so it doesn't overdrive or anything like that. Okay, we're going to drop the tempo down a bit. And now, so, I plotted out some notes for this. That's why you see Notepad open. I may have cropped that out or not. I'm not sure yet. So, the first thing we need to do is we need to find a root note. And mainly what I do when I create the chords for my songs is I just randomly pick a note. So I'm just going to randomly pick a note. D. So we're going with a D. That's going to be our first note. And so there's so much that you can adjust to this. The amount of possibilities that you can do is literally, it's unlimited. So I'm going to go ahead and make each note one measure long. I think I'm not good with bars and measures and stuff like that. So we're going to go with a D. And then usually what I do is I either try to drop down 2 notes, because that sounds pretty nice, or I try going up somewhere. I'm not sure where I usually go up though, so that doesn't sound very nice. So we could go there, and then we could go down here. See, really all you got to do is experiment with your root notes, but the first thing that you want to do is find root notes. Root notes are the notes that your other notes are going to be built off of. There's a goddamn plane that's being very loud right now. First thing you're going to want to do is find root notes, and when you find the root notes, then you can start building notes off of those root notes. So I'm going to go ahead and find my root notes. And another thing I was thinking about, if you do so happen to use chords from another song, don't sweat it and don't stress about it, because I mean, most of the time it's not a big deal. Most of the time it's just, oh, okay, you're using my chords, well, shit. I mean, and another thing you can do is obviously just change where the root note starts. Because if it sounds exactly like the copywritten song, then you could have some issues. But otherwise, I don't think you'll have any problems. Alright, so back to root notes. We have a D, an F, a C, and I'm going to go ahead with a G. Alright, that sounds about good. I think I'm going to use those for my root notes. So now that I have my root notes, what I'm going to go ahead and do is start building off some notes off of the root note. Really, if we're looking for chords here, obviously. So first of all, what you want to do is go either 3 spaces up or 4 spaces up. It's depending on how you want it to sound. If you go 3 spaces up, then it's going to sound darker, because it's a minor. If you go 4 spaces up, then it's going to sound more major, and it's going to sound more happier. Let me show you what I mean by that. So if I put that there, and then, okay, I'm not really sure how to explain this, but if I go here, and then, see, by hearing those 2 sounds, you can tell that those cooperate. So if I delete that and just play those, you can hear that it cooperates with each other. If I were to move it down, see that it just, you have to listen, really, you have to listen. If you don't know how to tell what chords are, like I do, because I couldn't read sheet music to save my life, I couldn't read chord paper to save my life. You just have to rely basically completely on your own ears, and that's what I do. So basically you can tell this is good and this is bad. That's good too. But see, okay, that's another thing. Since this is at a G and this is at a D, the root note is now a G because the D is corresponding with the G. So we want the root note to be a D, so we're going to move this back up to an A. So now enough talk, let's just go ahead and build some chords. I'm going to go for a more dark sound, I suppose. So I'm going to go 3 spaces up, and I'm going to go to that corresponding note. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go, since this was D down here, I'm going to go to D up here. And now, something else that you can judge off of. I mean, like I said, the possibilities are unlimited. If you want to make the chords sound a bit more, I really don't know how to describe it. If you want it to sound a bit more radical, as in like a 70s radical, you can throw in just a note, 2 notes below the top note here. So if it was like this, see, it sounds kind of dark. It sounds kind of like haunted manor, spooky, spoopy. And if you want to make it sound more cool, you could throw in a note 2 notes before the top note. I know it doesn't exactly sound nice with a 3x oscillator, but I mean, also varying the synth and using different kinds of synths can also, it can vary how you perceive what the sound is like. So, and of course we can move this up to an F sharp. That sounds more friendly. Or we could drop the sound to an F. And something else I've recently gotten into doing is, since this is an F, so we go to, into that, there, do, god damn it, there. And then sometimes I like to go like that. Now, I know that chord doesn't sound very nice with the 3x oscillator, as I said before, but if you continue to experiment with what you got and what you have in front of you, and the chords that this video that I'm telling you about, then you really should be able to create a set of chords with no problem. I mean, once you get used to plotting down the basic mechanism, root note, 3 to 4 up, corresponding notes, and then, you know, you could plot the same note 1 octave up, and then go 2 notes lower if you desire. But sometimes some people don't. Some people like it, some people don't. See, that sounds more, because there's an F here and an E here. That's why it sounds kind of wonky like that. But if you use like pads and stuff like that, it'll sound absolutely beautiful. And it sounds like trance almost. It's just the synth that I'm using. So don't freak out if you don't like it. Once you experiment with it, then you'll be like, God damn it, Brandon, thank you so much. So, okay, now that we've created this, and see, all you gotta do is experiment. FL Studio is all about experimenting. Creating music is all about experimenting. As long as you continue to experiment with your sounds and, you know, just don't go too crazy, I think you'll create something freaking awesome. So, there's this. And now it switches to the second one. So that's 2 octaves there. And I'm going to go ahead and follow the same method. So, right there, it's another set of corresponding notes. See, that's a happy sounding chord. But that doesn't sound very, what I'm particularly going for is not that. It all depends on also what you're going for, like what kind of sound do you want? What do you have implemented in your mind? Do you have something more depressing, chilly, ambient kind of sounding? Or is that what you want? Or do you want something more happy and upbeat and summertime sort of thing? So, that's my first set of chords. And okay, something else that appeals to the ears of some people out there. In fact, a lot of people out there. I'm not sure why it does, but it appeals to me too. Is when you just go one note higher and one note lower for as much as possible. Because I guess it's just more of a chilly thing. Not chilly like... whatever, just listen. Okay, so... and then we can go up here. I mean, as long as you continue to experiment, you should come up with something great eventually. Okay, so... so there's another chord right there. What I did was I went from C to G. That's the corresponding note to the C. And then I just threw in the C an octave higher. And then there's the E up there. I could put the E down here, but I don't think it sounds as good. Well, it still sounds good, but I mean... it just depends on what you're going for. As I constantly state, it all depends on what you're looking for. And something else I would try to do is try to keep the number of notes the same for each section. So for instance here I have 5 here, 4 here, 5 here. So I'm going to try putting another note here. And the more I listen to it, the more I don't like that. So now I just set it to 4 instead. Okay, now let's create this last one. And there we have it. We have a series of chords. Now I'm going to go ahead and replace it with a good old nexus up in here. And we're going to see just what happens if we take... there's this pad I really wanted to use earlier. Master Sweep. Let's just see how it sounds. Try slowing down the tempo a bit. See, it sounds almost like galactic, almost mystical. Okay, so that is my tutorial on how to create a series of chords. Once again, let's just go over the basic steps. Root notes in all 4 sections, build a 3 to 4 step up, and then build a corresponding note, and then go 1 octave higher. So it's either, if it's 3 steps up, then you're going to go for a darker sound. If it's 4 steps up, you're going to go for a more lighter, happier sound. And just experiment. That is the main thing that I strongly suggest. Experiment with what you have. And I believe that's all I have to say. So I hope this video helps you guys out. I'm sorry if I rambled on for way too long. It's been a long time since I've done a tutorial on anything. My last tutorial was in 2012. And it's been almost 2 years since I've done... well, it has been 2 years since I've last done my tutorial. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.